Hello and welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today I'm going to be taking a quick look at SQUEETH. Now, SQUEETH is kind of like an options platform, a place where you can basically long and short ETH with kind of leverage. Okay, it's very unique. It's very special. It's made by the team at Open, who created the options platform that Ribbon runs on. So a place to buy and sell options and so forth. Now they have this thing which is quite interesting, and that's basically it allows you to long, like perpetual long, ETH squared, which is ETH price times ETH, and that's without liquidations. Okay, and they also allow you to short, but the short does have liquidation possibilities. Okay, now there are three major actors in this, and I'll go through them when I go through the flowchart. Now, I do recommend, as always, read the docs. The docs is pretty good. However, the Medium articles of Joseph here and Wade Prosper. Anyhow, sorry about that. These articles are quite informative, especially this one. It's like a 27-minute read, so I would suggest you to read these. Now, I'm going to do my best to try to explain this. Now, I'm going to give you just an introduction to this. This is not an easy project to explain, and it's not an easy project to grasp everything. So after you watch my video, I'm almost certain you're going to have to come in and read more and ask more questions and head up at the Discord. So without that, let's swing over to the flowchart. If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. If you want to know more about the Secret Sandwich NFT project, I would suggest you to check out the Medium. I will put a link to this website, and you can check the Medium articles here. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have our three actors. We have Dollar Bill, Mama Bill, and Boosted Bill. Okay, and they're going to take part in this SQUEETH. Okay, so the first actor we have is Mama. Mama just wants to kind of play it a little bit safe. She doesn't want to long or short and so much, but she does want to do a little bit of longing. So as you can see, what she can do is she can use her ETH to provide liquidity to this Uniswap version 3 pool, okay? And this Uniswap version 3 pool is ETH versus this ETH squared, okay? This token ETH squared. So when she provides ETH to this, so she's considered to be longing ETH by about 1.5x. This position auto rebalances for her, so she doesn't have to worry about the Uniswap version 3 rebalances as long as she does it via the SQUEETH website and not just produces it on Uniswap herself, right? And then the reason why she's doing this is because she wants trading fees. So she's long ETH, and she's going to get trading fees from doing this. Now, there are two options on the website that you can either use your ETH to mint this SQUEETH or this ETH squared token. They call it SQTH. So this SQUEETH, right, token. So she can mint the SQUEETH token and add 50-50 or whatever the ratio is on the Uniswap pool. Or she can just buy the SQUEETH and then add it, right? So there's these two options. And again, like I can't explain to you the whole aspects of that, but dig in deep to decide which one of those you want to do if you want to play grandma's role. Okay, moving on. So here we have Dollar Bill. Now let's say Dollar Bill is just bearish on the price of ETH, right? The value of ETH. So what he can do is he can use some ETH, right? He can buy it or borrow it or something like that. Get some ETH and then use it to mint some of the SQUEETH, right? And then sell the SQUEETH for more ETH. And then if he really wants, he can leave this ETH position, right? With selling this ETH, right? Now, he does have to worry about some liquidations. Now, he doesn't have to worry about strike prices. There's no strike prices. There's no expiration date, and therefore there's no rolling of his position. It's perpetual, right? So he does have to worry about this collateral ratio. He will get liquidated if the collateral ratio goes below 150. And they recommend you to use about 200. And that's kind of where this 2x comes from, in a sense. Okay, this 200% collateral ratio here. Okay, there's a lot more, so let's move on. Okay, so let's just make sure you understand this. Like, I guess you do see that he's shorting this ETH squared token by minting it and then selling it, because later he will have to repay it, right? Now, along comes the bull, right? Bullish, boosted bill is bullish. So what does he do? He uses his ETH to simply buy this SQUEETH token, right? And if the price of ETH were to go up, then he could then sell this back through the pool to get a whole bunch more ETH, okay? Now, some of the things that he sees here or some of the key things that he has no strike price either. He has no expiration, no rolling, and he's got no possibility of liquidation. So he can long without getting liquidated, which is quite good, okay? Now, because he's long ETH squared, right, which is the price of ETH times the price of ETH, right? Because he's long that, he has some benefits, as well as he has to consider funding, because this guy is basically short him, right? So he's short this. So let's talk about the benefits first. If you are 2x ETH, if you just use your ETH to borrow some USDC and buy some more ETH, right? Then you're 2x ETH per se. Then the price of ETH is linear. As the linear growth, your profit is linearly grows, but so does your losses. If you lose money, then your losses are linearly decaying as well. Like, basically, they're growing linearly. So as you can see, the ETH 2x of ETH will give you like a straight line of profit and a straight line of loss. However, with ETH squared, which is the price of ETH times the price of ETH, you have a lot more upside and a lot less downside. Okay, so the actual losses, if you do lose, you lose less. If you win more. So that's the benefit of doing this ETH squared. Now, again, you're going to have to dig into the math to understand this completely, but, that's what it is. Okay, let's moving on. So now the funding, right? He has to pay some funding because he's getting this benefit from boosted bills. So the funding comes from this, what they call this normalization. So they have this normalization factor, which is how they allow boosted bill to fund him. There's no transfer of funds. He doesn't have to pay him every week or something like this. They use this normalization curve, okay? Now the normalization line is a product, or is calculated based on the difference between the actual price of ETH squared versus the price of this ETH squared token inside the pool. So as this gap, the gap between the actual price and the price in the pool widens, then this curve goes down. So, and they expect it to be pretty linear, or not linear, but like to have a gradual downward slopes similar to this. Like, it's kind of a curve, right? But you get it, right? So what happens? How does this become funding for him? Okay, basically, as this curve goes down, then his debt goes down. So his debt goes down in terms of dollar value, right? So since his debt goes down, his collateral ratio is more healthy. And so he has two choices. One is he can pull out some of his ETH and sell it, right? Because he's bearish. He just wants USDC per se, right? So he can pull out his ETH and sell it. Or he can mint some more of these and sell them into the market for more ETH, and then again sell that ETH if that's what he wants to do. Now, this action of selling this SQUEETH, this ETH squared token into the market here, lowers the price of this versus ETH, right? And makes it more attractive for longers to come in and lever up some more, right? Now, there are some automated features. There's some automated vaults that they talk about. There are 3 that they talk about and 2 that are currently live as far as I can tell, right? So the first one is called a crab. Now the crab is very interesting. So what that does is it takes USDC. So let's say Graham is crab. So she takes USDC and she supplies it to the crab vault. Now the crab vault uses that USDC to buy ETH, right? So she's long ETH, right? However, it takes half of that ETH, right? And converts it, uses it through the system, so uses it to get some SQUEETH, right? And then sells it. So she's then short SQUEETH, but long ETH, right? And that's what the crab does. And it'll automatically rebalance this all the time, like any normal vault, every harvest call and stuff like that. Okay, so this is the crab vault, okay? Moving on, we have the bull vault, right? They call it the Zen bull vault. So what that takes as a deposit is ETH. So let's say Boosted Bill, right? So he deposits ETH inside. First thing it does is it takes 50% of that ETH, sells it for USDC, and deposits that into the crab to get more the benefit of this crab vault, which is basically harvesting volatility in the short range, right? So a crab volatility, but not high price exposure, right? And then the rest of the ETH, the other 50% of that ETH, it takes it, supplies it on Euler, takes a flash loan to borrow USDC, buys more ETH, and then recollateralizes it so that his position's healthy, right? So there's a whole bunch of long ETH here, right? And then there's 50% crab, okay? So that's how that one works. And then they talk about the bear, but the bear isn't not live yet, so I'm going to take some guesses here. This is not true. Haven't verified this, but this is kind of the way I see. So perhaps the bearish could use the USDC to supply to the bear. And then some proportion of that, maybe 50%, will go to the crab to continue to get this. And then they will use the USDC to do the opposite over here. So borrow ETH, sell the ETH for USDC, and apply to put it in. Now you got to remember, like, just these are basically hoping that the price, if this one here, the price goes down in ETH, then it's cheaper for them to repay the debt, right? And whereas here, if the USDC, or if the ETH goes up, then it's cheaper for him to sell some of that ETH to repay this USDC debt. Okay, so that's pretty much how covers this as I can. I don't want to spend hours and hours explaining it. I really do encourage you to go and read those articles if this is something you're interested in and you want to know more about. This is not an easy project to really cover, so I appreciate you watching, and I hope this has been helpful, and goodbye.